Good morning, boys and girls. This is Mr. Velasco. Today, boys and girls, we're going to learn about composite shapes. Composite shapes is when you take smaller shapes and you are able to make a bigger shape. So you need to take out your Eureka Math book A, and then you're going to turn to page 213. Boys and girls, remember for this video, you're going to pause the tape if you need to go back and check something. So you could pause it and go back and view it again so that you know if you're doing the work correctly. So boys and girls, go ahead and take out your Eureka Math Book A, find page 213. When you find page 213, boys, we're going to need crayons. I'm going to use my colored pencils. And we're going to color this square. Boys and girls, if you notice, this square is made of many smaller shapes. So this, boys and girls, is a composite shape because it's a big picture, it's a big shape made of smaller shapes. If you are ready, boys and girls, we're going to color the shapes different colors. The colors that I have are red. Can you see that? And the next color that I'm going to use the color blue. But boys and girls, there are two blues that I'm going to use. I'm going to use a dark blue and I'm going to use a light blue. That would be this one. And then, boys and girls, I'm going to use the color yellow. And I'm also going to use the color purple. And boys and girls, I'm going to use the color orange. That's a lot of colors. And boys and girls, I'm going to use the color green. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors, boys and girls, that we're going to use today. The first color that we're going to use is the color red. And when I use the color red, I'm going to trace this big red triangle. So with your crayon, boys and girls, on your page, will you please color one large triangle red, and then I'm going to fill it in as best I can. I'm going to do my best not to go out of the lines. And I'm going to be patient to make sure I do my best in coloring all of the shapes. Okay, so here is my red triangle. That's the first shape I have in my composite shape. The next color, boys and girls, I'm going to be using the color blue. Now for this blue, boys and girls, I'm going to color the next big triangle. And I'm going to trace it first. And then I'm going to fill it in. Uh-oh, I went out of my line. Oh my gosh. Well, that's okay. It was just a little mark. And I'm going to take my time so that I don't go out of the lines anymore. Coloring is not easy, boys and girls. It's a lot of work. Okay, and there is my second large triangle. The next color I'm going to use, boys and girls, is the color blue again, but this is a light blue. It's not a dark blue like my other blue. And the shape that I'm going to color this time is going to be, again, boys and girls, another triangle, but this triangle will be light blue. So I'm going to trace it first. My triangles have 3 sides and it has 3 corners. And you know what I noticed, boys and girls? I noticed that this triangle, I'm going to make it right here, has 1 square corner. Okay, and that's the next triangle. That's 3 triangles that I've colored. The next shape that I'm going to color, boys and girls, I'm going to use the color yellow, and it's going to be my square. And look here on my square, I'm going to make my square corners, just so that you could see the square corners on the square. Those are square corners. We learned about square corners. And I'm going to trace my square yellow, and then I'm going to just color it all yellow. Can you see that? That's a very, very light yellow. Can you see that on the video? The yellow, the light yellow? Okay, yep, it's got a bit of yellow on there. Good. The next color, boys and girls, I'm going to use is the color purple. Purple for my next triangle. And let me see. Ooh, here is a square corner. Let me see this one. Oh, that's not a square corner. That's a triangle corner. I'm looking for square corners. Nope, a triangle doesn't have all square corners. It only had 1 square corner. Okay, oop, I didn't trace it. Trace it first. And then color it in. There's my square corner. Okay, and now I have one more shape over here, and this shape is called a parallelogram, or it's also called a rhombus. A rhombus. So what I'm going to do for the rhombus is I'm going to get my orange crayon, and I'm going to trace it. It has 4 sides like a square. However, does it have square corners? Let me see. Is that a square corner? It kind of looks like a square corner. How about this one? That's not a square corner. How about this one? Is that a square corner? Oh, that's not a square corner. Is this a square corner? No, it's not a square corner. So it's not really a square. But it does have 4 corners and it does have 4 sides. But it's not a square. It does not have square corners. So my rhombus, I color orange. The last color, boys and girls, can you guess what color that one's going to be? What color's left? Ooh, it is green. And this is a green triangle. That's many triangles that I have here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. 2 triangles are large, 2 triangles are little, and this triangle is medium sized. It's not the largest one, and it's not the smallest one either. Does it have square corners? No, that's not a square corner. How about this one? Oh, that's a square corner. Is that a square corner? No, that's not a square corner. So triangles, sometimes they have square corners and sometimes they do not. Okay, boys and girls, and now I finished coloring all my shapes. Now, boys and girls, you need to do this. You need to carefully tear out your page. Go ahead and get a pair of scissors. And then I'm going to color my square. And boys and girls, you know what? I'm going to cut this out the way Miss Jones showed me how to cut it. Cut it without making a lot of trash. So first, I'm just going to cut the edges very carefully. And I'm going to try not to make a lot of trash. I'm cutting the outside of my square and I'm going very slowly. Okay. And here we go. Now remember, boys and girls, if I'm working too fast, that's okay. Just put your tape on pause and then play it whenever you've caught up and you're ready to go. Now, to cut this composite shape, remember it's a shape made out of a lot of little shapes. First, I'm going to cut my square here in the half, right underneath the two large triangles. Do you see that? And then over here, I'll go ahead and cut this large triangle into two smaller triangles. So now I have these two triangles. Okay. And then here, let me get this page over here. Set it down. And so there are my two small triangles. Here's one of my smaller triangles. How many shapes are there altogether? We'll count them right now. If I use 7 colors, I must have 7 shapes. So very carefully, I'm going to cut out my square. This is the only square. And that went right there. Right there. Ooh, this is very challenging. I'm gonna call my grandson over so he could bring me a baggie. Adric! I'm gonna cut out my other small square. And that small square goes, I believe it goes right there. Will you please bring me a baggie so I could save my shapes in the baggie? Thank you. And last, I'm gonna cut my rhombus. How does my rhombus go over here? Oh, it goes like that. And then the last shape that I had left was my triangle. Okay, so here is my composite shape. I made this big square using 7 smaller shapes. Thank you, mister. So boys and girls, I have a baggie so that you could save your shapes in your baggie. That way, if you want to make these shapes later, when you have free time, like tomorrow, Saturday, you can go ahead and take out your baggie with your shapes and see if you could make new shapes with your smaller shapes. Remember, boys and girls, if you need time to catch up, put your tape on pause, and then you can go ahead and continue when you're ready. The first shape that I want to make, boys and girls, with this, with all these small shapes, the first shape that I want to make is a, whoops. Let me lower the volume.
Swan.
I want to make a swan. Now to make a swan, I'll do it this way. I'm going to put the purple shape on top of my white piece of paper, and that'll be my beak. And then I'm going to get my rhombus and put it there. That's going to be the swan's neck. Oop. That's not going to work like that. Oop, I got to turn it over. This way. I should have colored that orange as well, because I need to have a long neck. And then I have my yellow, and then I have my small blue square, like that. And then I'm going to put my medium-sized green square, and that one goes like that. Is it starting to look like a swan, boys and girls? And then I'm going to put one of my large triangles next to my medium-sized green square, and then here's going to be his feathered body at the end. Does that look like a swan, boys and girls? Okay, I'm going to show you my secret, boys and girls. I'm actually looking at a video on my laptop, and it tells me how to make these composite pictures just like that. Do you see that? Now, you notice that this one here, this is the orange one. So maybe sometimes it would be a good idea to color both sides of the shapes so that it looks a lot nicer when you put it down. I'm coloring that really quickly. Okay. And there it is, boys and girls. And I'm going to send you this video, boys and girls, of how to make different animals with your shapes. So that was a swan. Ooh, look at this one. That's a horse. And you're gonna get a chance to make a horse, a composite picture using smaller shapes to make the larger picture. So you're gonna get to make a horse, and let me see what else you're gonna get a chance to make. Ooh, what does that look like in the smaller one? What is that? That's a bunny. That's a funny bunny. And let me see what else you can make. And here's another one. What does that look like, boys and girls? That is a duck, boys and girls. You get to make a duck as well. Oh, that's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna send you this video as well, and you get to make the pictures with your shapes, make your composite pictures with your smaller shapes, okay? And then if we can go back, let's see if I could do this. This is the challenging part, boys and girls. You're going to use your smaller shapes, and this is going to be the challenge for you. Okay, you're going to make your own shapes. So, if I go back to my first shape, do you remember what my first creature was? My first creature was a swan, and we know that a swan is a bird, beautiful bird that we see on lakes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a pencil, Here's my pencil, and I'm going to, guess what? I'm going to trace my shape, and this is going to take a lot of patience. Trace my shape very carefully. Try not to tear my paper. Remember, this is only paper. If you're not careful, you can, what? You can tear it. So be careful with your paper shapes. So there's my first shape that I traced. And then do you remember how to make a swan? We're going to, I had to turn it over because otherwise I was going to get the white. And remember the neck? So I'm going to trace my neck now with my pencil. Okay, and I'm going to trace this one as well. Trace this one as well. And remember, boys and girls, I'm working pretty fast, but you can put your video on pause and you can catch up. Okay, next I'm going to use the square to continue the neck going to the body, and I'm going to be very careful. Do you notice how I hold the corners of my shapes down so that my pencil doesn't go over the paper or under the paper and I don't tear it? Okay, how's that? Okay, next is going to be one of my small squares, and I'm sorry, one of my small triangles, and my small triangle is going to go like this. And I'm going to trace it very carefully. Uh-oh, this one came out a little crooked, so I'm going to try and fix it. There you go. And next, I'm going to use my medium-sized triangle. Put it there. And then I'm going to trace my lines as best I can. It's going to be very challenging, boys and girls. If you make an error, that's okay. You can erase it and fix it. And then I'm going to get a large blue triangle and put it up against my medium-sized blue triangle. And I'm going to trace again. And I'm carefully holding down my shape. And I'm tracing. How's that? Uh-oh, look at this. I didn't finish this, so I'm going to do this very carefully. If you find that you missed some places, you can go back and fix it. If you made the line incorrectly, erase it and fix it because you're using a pencil. And my last shape, boys and girls, is going to be my other large triangle. It's going to go on top of my first large triangle, and I'm going to do my best to trace it. Oh, I don't know if that one came out right. Let me see. Take it out. Oh, look, I need some areas I need to fix. There you go. And what was the name of this? Ooh, I'm going to call this one Swan. Swan. And on the video it tells you how to spell the word so you don't have to work too hard. Okay, can you compare those two? There's my swan, and then look at that. All right, boys and girls, so there are many different animals that you can draw. I chose to draw the swan. As you look at the video, you can choose which animal you want to make. Now remember, it's very challenging. I know you can do it. And look, boys and girls, when I'm finished with my shapes, if I get tired and I don't want to draw anymore and trace anymore because that was a lot of work, I can put them back in my Handy dandy baggie. Keep them in there. And then I could put it somewhere special, somewhere safe, so that the next time I want to make an animal with my shapes, I can make a composite shape using my smaller shapes. Remember, a composite shape is when you make a larger shape using smaller shapes. That's called a composite shape. Let me see, where was that? There it is. Composite shapes. So we made a composite shape today, boys and girls. We made a swan using all the smaller shapes. Good job, boys and girls. I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye.